was a post that was double.
What time you get out of here? Was it It was reasonable.
Yeah, it was like 9.
All right, good.
I was in bed by 9:45.
Let's go.
That's a good Sunday.
Great Sunday.
Falling asleep to Justin Herbert.
You mean that defense that's carrying Herbert? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever. Whichever way you want to put it.
Did you send in a video? Not to spoil the Dirty
Of
Dozen,
Justin
but did
Herbert?
you send in something from that game?
No.
Okay.
No, I
That
did not.
defense was
Stout.
beyond stout.
Stout. I will say.
Over 9 on
Justin
third
Herbert
down.
had a fine game.
He had what?
He had a fine game.
Okay.
He didn't turn it over. Threw for 220 yards. Touchdown. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. The no turnovers part is big.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have Broncos fans so mad at me. They don't realize
How
that
does
I'm
it
one
feel
of them. It's so weird.
to be back on that side of things?
They're so angry.
It's been a
at
while
me.
since the whole fan base got mad at
Yeah.
you. Yeah. And you didn't say anything wrong.
No. And my favorite is they're like, your team probably just stinks.
It's like,
And you're
yes,
mad. And
you're
I'm like,
right.
yeah, I'm talking about it right now in this video. Thank you so much. I had a really weird social media weekend.
What do you mean?
Because I had people really mad at me from the Broncos side. And then I had some real thirsty people on the other side, and it was just a really weird mix. Yeah. I meant to show you some DMs.
Oh, DMs?
Oh.
They slip and sliding in the DMs?
It was a weird place. It was an odd place.
Doggy.
Yeah, but we
All
survived.
right. Okay.
We made it through. Except the Broncos fans are still going off. They've outlasted.
They've outlasted the thirst?
They've outlasted the thirst. I woke up to some message from some guy who was like, you dumb B word, how dare you talk about sports? Get back in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. And I'm like, wow, that's so boring. Like, give me something to work with here.
Come on, man. If you're gonna be a sexist, like, be a better one than that.
I know.
Don't be such a lazy. Like, that's my
Don't be
biggest.
such a cliche.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you hate women, but really hate them then. Like, come on.
Really get down there.
Really hate them.
Okay, then be careful with that, because then we have people who take it way too far.
Well, listen. Yeah, don't do that, but don't be lazy with it either, Jessica. That's all I'm saying.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday, November 10th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, 2 Grizz games this weekend. 1 win, 1 loss. We'll go through the vibe saver of a Friday night and a tough one against the Thunder on Sunday. It was perhaps a playoff dream crusher at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Friday night with the Tigers losing to Tulane. Gary Parrish will join us. We'll get his thoughts on the Grizz, the Tigers, both football and basketball, as the men's basketball team started their season with a pretty impressive win over San Francisco. We will do our Dirty Dozen, 12 plays from the football weekend to describe it, 6 from college, 6 from the NFL, and we'll do a little Hot Mess Express if we have the time. It is a Monday. You know what we say. You're not the most emo team.
They aren't?
No.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Grizz Nation, don't foul out on dinner plans. Hit Sticks Express in downtown Memphis instead. Fresh hibachi, steak, shrimp, sushi tacos, and yes, our legendary sake slushie to keep things cool. Order online with code STIX901, STIX901, and knock 10% off your tab. It's the perfect pick and roll for game night. Sticks Express, fast, fresh, always a slam dunk. And hey, come see us at our Collierville location too.
It's early, but top 4 in win shares per 48 minutes in the NBA right now, Cedric Coward is in that group. You want to know who else is in it?
Who?
Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I like that company.
That means the American player with the highest win share per 48 minutes, Grizz rookie Cedric Coward.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. The Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on, so join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine.
Oh no! There it is.
Working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling. Having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out. Let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? I hope you had a good weekend, an okay weekend. I hope your weekend was good, no matter if your sports team won or lost or was somewhere in between. It was a busy weekend in Memphis. Grizzlies with 2 games. Tigers football had a very sad Friday night. Tigers men's basketball had a pretty dominant opener. We will get into all of the happenings in Memphis, but we will start with the Memphis Grizzlies, who go 1-1 this weekend, now 4-7 on the season. And here is what that weekend split taught you. 1, you are not as down bad as the Dallas Mavericks. That is a fact. They might be the downest baddest team in the NBA at the moment. But you are also not at this moment as good as the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the best team in the NBA and aren't even playing with one of their most important players in Jalen Williams, who still hasn't made his season debut coming off off-season wrist surgery. Last night they were also without Lou Dort, but they have now beaten the Grizzlies 14 times in a row, which is crazy and just shows how these teams have been on very different paths these last few years. The simple explanation for the Grizzlies now being 4-7 this season, CJ, is that the Grizzlies are 0-7 against teams above 500, and the Grizzlies are 4-0 against teams below 500. So you are better than the bad teams, the baddest teams, and not baddest in a good way, baddest in a bad way. But you are not right now in a place where you are competing with the teams who are winning more basketball games than they are losing. Is that a fair assessment of this team?
Yeah, and it's been that way going on. This is the early parts of year 2, but it was this way last year as well, where they were beating bad teams and they weren't able to beat the good teams. So, yeah,
yes.
That is the fairest critique of the team so far.
Let's take this chronologically, because we do sit here on a Monday, and usually this is a what have you done for me lately league, and what the Grizzlies have done lately is lost by 14 to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. But I don't want to just erase the Mavs game, because that game held importance. Because when we left here on Friday, we did not know if we would be sitting here being able to talk about a single Grizzlies win coming out of the weekend. We called it the Emo Cup and sang emo songs on Friday to describe the upcoming game between the Grizzlies and the Mavs. And I heard this great analogy over the weekend where the NBA can act as a relay race to not be the worst vibes team in the league at any given point. And the New Orleans Pelicans passed the baton to the Dallas Mavericks when the Pelicans beat the Mavericks middle of last week. And then the Mavs tried to pass that baton on to the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies said, not so fast. This is not our baton to hold. And they ended up putting together one of, if not the most impressive first half that we have seen from this team this season. And they were at one point up 33 points in the third quarter, and Ja Morant is diving on the floor for a loose ball. And you're thinking, oh, this is good. And again, everything under the caveat of you're playing the Dallas Mavericks, but things were working. Communication was a capital C. The big eyeglasses were on all things Ja Morant and Tomas Isolo. And at one point, they dapped each other up, and they were constantly talking. And somebody got a picture with Coach Isolo's arm around Ja, and they said, stop the press. War is over. Everything is fine. Everything is good. Is that Parker? I don't know. I saw it from a lot of different people, and I laughed at the various captions that came. But I think Parker was one of them. And it was good to see. Like at one point, Jaren is hugging Coach Isolo on the court and had an interaction that was reported after the game where he went and just gave Coach Isolo a hug and said, now that I know where the F I'm supposed to go, this is a lot easier. And it just served as a vibe saver, like simply put, on Friday, because the vibes were in the toilet. And like every day last week, it was either a Grizzlies loss or there was some news story about a source who told a source who told a source who told another source that everything is not okay in Memphis, and it just felt like it built on itself. And those things can spiral out of control. And so you finally have a game where guys are making shots, and you see what this offense and this pace is supposed to look like. The ball is crispy. Ja was really aggressive early, attacking the paint, operating as the elite passer that he can be. He had a season-high 13 assists along with his 21 points. Still couldn't hit a three to save his life, but it was a game against the Mavs, and it really didn't matter. Cedric Coward was awesome. Like, if there is one really resounding positive coming out of the entirety of the weekend, is that Cedric Coward is absolutely in contention to be Rookie of the Year this season. Like, there is absolutely a path forward for that. We'll see if he gets Rookie of the Month honors. VJ Edgecombe has been great in Philly, but VJ Edgecombe is playing along with Tyrese Maxey. Cedric Coward is doing so much more than what we anticipated he would be needing to do early in the season. And in a game on Friday where you had Cooper Flagg, the number one pick, one of the most hyped picks that we have seen in a minute coming into the NBA, and Cedric Coward was the best player on the court. Like, he had best rookie on the court, excuse me. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. He's posting an average on shooting splits that we have never seen from a rookie in NBA history. He's putting together stats that where Sean Coleman is piecing together things and putting him in the same sentence as Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and who's the third? Grant Hill. Like, those are fun things to be saying about your rookie. And he just looks like he belongs, and his shot is so smooth, and he's fighting for aggressive rebounds. And ultimately, the Grizzlies get a win. And the people who were in that building on Friday had a good time. Like, the streamers fell. It felt complete. And sometimes you just need a win to keep going. You just need a win so that you can understand proof of concept, so that you don't just fall completely off the cliff. And they talked about some walkthrough that they had on Thursday that I guess served as like an energy shifter and got everyone on the right page and kind of simplified things down. And listen, like, those are valuable in the middle of an 82-game season. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't just glide past an NBA Cup win at that, which the Grizzlies don't get very often. Now 2-8 all-time in NBA Cup play. But then that does bring us to Sunday, and the Thunder are in town. And I don't think anyone has to lie to themselves. Like, I think most people went into Sunday thinking, okay, got to win against the Mavs on Friday. Won the game that you were supposed to, if we're going by the measure of beating the below 500 teams and not beating the above 500 teams. Now you face the Thunder, and it could be ugly. And then it was anything but in the first half, especially the first quarter. Like, you were there in the building last night. That was the beautiful game. Like, the way the Grizzlies played early on in this one was what you want to see. The ball is popping, the shots are in rhythm. Thunder are missing a ton of shots, so the Grizzlies are able to get out in transition and get into their early offense, which is critical for them at this juncture. They were plus 12 on the boards at half, and it was a really impressive first half. What did you think of the first half before we dive into the second half, CJ?
I was prepared to tweak some perceptions of what this team was going to be or could be going forward if that first half had have continued into the second half, right? Like, that's how good that first half was. Sure, the Thunder are down pretty prominent players. Dort, probably their best perimeter defender, Williams, their most versatile perimeter defender, or not just perimeter defender, just most versatile defender, and their second best scoring option. But you look up and the Grizzlies are down 4 rotation players. They're down Edey, they're down Pippen Jr., they're down Ty Jerome and Brandon Clark, right? So it's like, okay, all right. Ball is moving. Players are contributing without having the ball in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So much of the NBA right now, for most teams, is we got one dude who we trust with the ball, and that one dude is going to pound the ball into the ground and make a play either for himself or for somebody else on the team. And that Grizzlies offense, and to this point of the season, has been void of that type of basketball being played. And now the ball is popping and moving around. Like you said, the beautiful game is being played. They're getting good shots. I think Jalen Wells stood out to me. I remember he had a couple of open-ish or open enough threes where in the past Jalen Wells would have taken it, and in the past Jalen Wells would have been encouraged to take it. And instead, he put the ball on the floor and got a nice little pull-up going. It's like, oh, okay. Somebody has told him, hey, you don't have to only shoot threes. Now do something else. And he's doing it. There were a couple of moments like that from him, some good moments, like you said, from Cedric Coward. And just overall, as a team, they looked like they figured something out offensively in the first half.
They had 17 assists on their first 17 made baskets.
And I think that is how this franchise envisions them playing going forward, right? Like,
yes.
The game against the Mavericks was good because you won. But I think of the moments from the weekend that most encapsulate what the franchise wants this team to be, particularly on the offensive end of the court, I think it's that first half against the Thunder.
Mm-hmm. And that was a carryover from the Mavs, too. Like, we saw some of that. And
with the Mavs, man, I can't tell.
You can't tell anything.
Because the Mavs are so bad. It's like, okay, this is working, but is it working because it's supposed to be working, or is it working because the Mavericks are bad
so
right
bad.
now? Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that's just sitting in a sad gutter. Like, do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating through the wind style? And more Fire Nico chants continue to rain down upon. I can hear them all the way from Dallas at any given point of any given day. But no, I agree. Because when you're seeing it against the Thunder, like, that proof of concept means more. Because not only is it the Thunder, it's the best defense in the NBA. And that's why when the Thunder start making shots in the second half of that game, and they're able to get back on defense and get settled into their half-court sets, everything just went stagnant for the Grizzlies. And the ball stopped moving. And a part of that is by nature of what the Thunder are doing defensively, but then it also felt like a part of it was the Grizzlies just getting out of what was working for them early on. And it's a combo frustration, and so what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. But the ball stops moving, the bodies stop moving, they go to this one-on-one action, and after having, I think they had 23 assists at the half after those first 17, and they end with 30. So they had 7 assists in the second half. They made a grand total of 12 field goals in the second half, and they only score 18 in the third quarter. And the thing about a team like the Thunder is they're relentless. Like, you can't let up. You have to play close to a perfect game because they will attack when they are not having a perfect game. And then they also have someone named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who can take over at any given moment. And I know everyone's frustrated and calls him SGFTA, but he's elite at getting to the line, and he's elite at scoring, and he hit those 2 step-back threes towards the end of that game where it just felt over. And it felt as if the Thunder, it was clear that the Thunder had the best player on the court that night. And he ends up with 33 points, and Chet has 21 and 7, AJ Mitchell has 21, Isaiah Hartenstein has 18 and 13. And I was going to do a starters scoring comparison because that's where things really fell short for the Grizzlies yesterday, especially in the second half. But that doesn't feel right because Santi Aldama and Cedric Coward played more like starter minutes. They both played 29 minutes opposed to KCP and Jalen, who played 22. So this is not a perfect exercise, but taking the 5 Thunder starters who scored a combined 100 points. They scored 100 of the Thunder's 114 points last night. And if you compare it to the Grizzlies' 5 highest minutes played players last night, so Ja, Jaren, Jock, Santi, and Ced, they combined for 63. So your players who played the most minutes in the game, your 5 highest minutes players, were outscored 100 to 63. And I think that really is like the crux of this for the Grizzlies right now, and the primary thing keeping them from being not just better than the Mavs, but a highly competitive team, despite the injuries that they're going through with no Edey, no Jerome, no Pippen, no Clark. But Ja and Jaren just have not been collectively good enough. Like, there have not been enough games this season where you are definitively walking away saying, man, those two were the best two players on the court. Or on any given night, one of them, 1A, 1B, whatever it may be. And of course, there are many reasons for that, like the cast around them, a new coach, a new system, like all of these things, the sub-patterns which continue to be wrinkled out. But at the end of the day, like, it's true. Like, who was the best player on the court last night? MVP, SGA. Who was the second best player on the court last night? Chet. Who was the third best player on the court last night?
Probably Hartenstein.
Probably Hartenstein.
Yeah.
And those two have to level up and figure out how to play well together and play more together. We can be clear. But the Ja shooting slump is probably like the most talked about thing coming out of last night. He was 3 of 18. He did take that logo 3, which was not great. But other than that, he's missing makeable shots. He's missing mid-range shots. He's missing floaters. He's definitely not attacking the rim as much as we are accustomed to seeing Ja, but I do think that is by design for health purposes. Like, especially if he's not getting those calls, and he talked about it after the game last night. Like, I'm not getting those calls, so what do you want me to do? The risk-reward just isn't worth it. And he's shooting 35% from the field and 14% from 3, and those are bad. But I think in terms of the shots that he is not making, there's just this discomfort right now. And maybe literal discomfort, because I do think he was dealing with some lower back
pains.
He was holding his lower back all night.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple times where he's gotten like up gimpy with his ankle, which was something he was dealing with going into the season. And that's, you know, the nature of a long NBA season too. But I think the discomfort in playing a game that is really antithetical to the way that he has always played basketball. And that's something he's going to have to continue to learn and to grow into. And it's not just on Ja. Like, it is Jaren, too, who, yes, is shooting 51% from the field. But there was a moment late in that game last night where Isaiah Hartenstein has 5 fouls, and Jaren has the ball on the perimeter, one-on-one with Hartenstein. And instead of just going at him and trying to bait him into a sixth, he passes it. And you want to see a more aggressive Jaren. We saw him score on the first 2 possessions last night, and I said, oh, this is great, like, get Jaren going early. But it just hasn't been continuous through a whole game. And we certainly haven't seen Jaren operate as a playmaker either. I think he had 1 assist over the last 2 games.
And I think all of that is by design. Both the Ja not attacking the paint as much and Jaren not going ISO 1-on-1 as much. I think it can't be anything other than, hey, we don't want you guys clogging this area up. If we keep this area open, we can get some cutters to cut through there, pull the defense off you a bit more, and then when you touch the ball, you'll be a bit more open, or somebody will get a easy look at the rim, right? Like, I watching them play, watching them play this year compared to other years, it just feels like they've been told, hey, don't go in there. You can go in there if you've got it, but don't force the issue. And sometimes in basketball, when you're the best offensive option on the court, you get to force the issue a bit more than what Jaren and Ja have been able to do so far this year. I will say that Jaren got the foul from the 3-point line, 3 free throws and the ball because it was a flagrant. It's at that point, what, a 5-6 point game, 4-point game. Great. Jaren's at the free throw line. 3 free throws, easy peasy. Make them 3, you're down 1, and you got the ball. And he went out there and missed 2.
And then they turned it over.
And then they turned it over. And it's like, okay, like that right there is, I think, on like the mental makeup of what Jaren is right now for whatever reason. Ja, in a moment of leadership, after missing the second free throw, did go up to Jaren and say something to him on the free throw line. Like, hey, you got this, or whatever. Was said. But like, you're not going to beat a good team making that type of a mistake where the game is in striking distance and you proceed to do that. You've got to capitalize on mistakes other teams have made, especially the good teams.
Especially the Thunder,
right? And so that was a moment where I wanted a little bit more out of Jaren from a mental standpoint. But outside of that, I really do think that this team and those 2 players in particular have been told, hey, we're gonna hot potato this ball. And by moving the ball, we're gonna move the defense, and we're gonna get easier looks at the rim so that Ja and Jaren don't necessarily have to force everything. We're 11 games in, 10 games in?
11 games.
11 games in through the first 10 games of the season, because we've talked, we're gonna break this thing down 10-game increments. through the first 10 games, it feels like they're trying to play that old school Spurs type offense where the ball just moves and it doesn't matter who's on the court. And if that's the case, I don't know how much we can put onto Ja and Jaren, especially when there are offensive possessions where Ja's just standing in the corner, where the action is happening. Coward and Santi and Conchar are doing things up at the top of the key, and Ja's just got to stand there and watch them do those types of things. So I'm not sure how much I can put on his shoulders or on Jaren's shoulders if that's how the Grizzlies are going to play ball.
And that's where I won't speak for everyone, would love to see it mixed up a little bit, right? Like there are times and possessions where you do go Ja attack mode. And I thought he did a good job of that again against the Mavs. And I'm with you, CJ. There's this sense of, can you trust what you saw with your eyes against the Mavs? But like, it did happen. And even Cedric Coward talked about it in our walk-off interview. That just makes everything easier because Ja is such a threat going downhill. That's one of the biggest assets that you continue to have from a true threat standpoint on this team, because they're also like, how many threes did they end up making last night? 17 threes last night. It doesn't necessarily feel to be the most sustainable. I get getting easy shots, getting shots in rhythm. Cam Spencer has been a bright spot over the last 3 games, even going back to the game against the Rockets. If there was one player trying to make it something down the stretch, it was Cam Spencer. So you trust that. He plays 20 minutes last night. Cedric was 3 of 6 from 3. Santi was 1 of 4. And then you had Jalen Wells 2 of 4. KCP 1 of 4. Jaren 3 of 7. Jock 2 of 5. Jock Landale continues to be one of the best 3-point shooters on this team. And then Ja was 2 of 7. I do wonder, we're going to continue to go back to this until it actually happens. How much does Zach Edey fix? That's the big question. That's the big question for this team. We're 11 games in, and I think it's very fair to say, oh, hold on. I'm not going to make declarative statements about the 2025-2026 Memphis Grizzlies until I see this thing with Zach Edey, see his screens, see how it opens things up on the offensive end.
Have they just stopped running ball screens? I didn't see very many over the weekend.
Not a lot.
Are you telling me Zach Edey comes in and they start setting more ball screens?
Yes.
Okay.
I would hope so, because we saw that work towards the end of last season. When Tomas Isolo took over and they started incorporating more ball screens back into it, like Ja just might be the kind of guard who cannot reach full potential or his best abilities of his game without one of those true bruising screeners. Like a Zach Edey, like a Steven Adams before that, like a Jonas Valanciunas even before that. So we'll see how that goes. They were pretty non-committal on any update on the Zach Edey return timeline. He has continued to practice with the Memphis Hustle. I believe they said that he was going to be on this road trip for the Grizzlies. They didn't re-sign Charles Bassey to another 10-day, which would imply that Edey's return is sooner than later because you wouldn't be able to continue to use that hardship exemption. So he can't come back soon enough because the Grizzlies have a tough schedule ahead where they're playing at Madison Square Garden Tuesday, back-to-back with the Celtics on Wednesday, Cavs next Saturday, and then the Spurs the following Tuesday. All 4 of those games on the road. We talked about it on the double post last night. You would take a split. You'd be like, yeah, 2-2 would be a great road trip for this team, and we'll see how it starts to play out. It did not play out well for the Memphis Tigers football team this weekend at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. While the Grizzlies were taking down the Mavs in the NBA Cup, the Tigers' playoff dreams might have come to an end. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Tigers. Gary Parrish will join us to talk more Grizzlies and Tigers as well. That's after a quick break.
Calling all collectors! Topps NBA basketball trading cards are back.
It's available in the Grizzlies Den by Fanatics and online at Topps.com.
Rip into bold color parallels,
Electric inserts, relics, and autographed cards from today's biggest stars and the next-gen talent.
Look out for rookie cards of Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, plus Grizzlies favorites John Morant, Jalen Wells, and so many more. You don't want to miss this drop. Grab your set before it's gone.
Watching the Grizzlies is easy with FanDuel Sports Network. If you have cable or satellite, you're all set. Find us on your channel lineup. You can also use your TV provider login to watch games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. No cable or satellite? Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online. You can also watch on Prime Video by adding a FanDuel Sports Network subscription. Not sure where to start? Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com to learn more.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other?
Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
Sheesh. That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizz Nation, do you know someone making an incredible impact in their Memphis Shelby County community? Submit a nomination for the 8th annual HBCU Empowerment Award, honoring 4 outstanding HBCU alumni for outstanding commitment to uplifting Memphis Shelby County communities. Visit grizzlies.com/HBCU for more information. It was HBCU night at FedEx Forum on Friday. I got to see CJ MC the halftime show.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
It was a great show.
It was great.
It was good.
Drumline battle.
Drum lines. Not necessarily a battle, but
a performance.
Performance.
Yeah.
You had Lane was in the house. Lamorne Owen was in the house with their cheer squad. They came out. Raleigh Egypt was out there as well. And why am I blanking on the third or the second high school?
Was it Whitehaven?
Might have been. Yes.
I think it was.
Yeah, Whitehaven. Like it was fun.
Yeah.
It's all HBCU night, always one of my favorite nights inside FedEx Forum. It was a good time, man.
And it was a good crowd.
Yeah.
Stone brought up in the chat, I hadn't even thought about this, but this weekend felt so similar to last May, where you get a big win over I'll call this one a down Dallas team. Back then it was a mid Dallas team fighting for a place out of the play-in game for make it into the first round of the playoffs, and then just lose to the best basketball team on the planet in the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. That's what
witnessed the same thing last year.
That's been their MO again. That was their MO last year.
I know, you're right.
And that's what they are this year. Up to this point, only 11 games into the season.
That's currently constructed.
Things can change, absolutely. But yeah, that's kind of what this team is right now.
Well, speaking of teams that are what they are and doing what we have seen them do, we'll start our Dirty Dozen in this segment, our 12 plays to describe the football weekend, 6 from college, 6 from the NFL. And we'll do our number one and start locally on the college side. I was trying to pick the play to define the Memphis loss to Tulane at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Friday night. And I just went with Tulane's very first play of the game, which was a 65-yard touchdown passing catch from Jake Retzlaff to Shaz Preston.
Come on.
And it's that easy. And I swear to you, some of those Tulane touchdowns in the first half looked like recess touchdowns. They were so easy with such poor defensive coverage from Memphis. Retzlaff ends up throwing for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 Tulane receivers had at least 69 receiving yards. I'm trying to keep up with the game while watching the Grizzlies Mavs game, and I was texting with Roser and Bennett as we were doing both double post prep and trying to keep up with the Tigers, and Roser was just like, all you need to know is it's just big play after big play after big play, and Tulane is scoring on all of those big plays.
Like, come on, man. That play you threw up, lack of focus on defense.
Yes.
Dude should not be running that wide open. The play to make it, to get 17, I think, where it was the safety comes down thinking it's a run play. I understand that. But once you realize it's not, don't just stand there in no man's land. Sprint your ass back where you're supposed to be. And he's just standing there, and then they've got a defensive back who's slow-footed, running, trying to keep up. And then he just trips over himself. Boom, reception, touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, all of those things, Tulane scored a whole lot in the first half, and all of them were easily preventable, as is evident by the fact that in the second half,
they scored 3 points.
They scored, and they needed to score, right? This wasn't okay, we're just going to hold on to the ball. No, they needed to score and could only score 3 points.
We have seen this, but it is baffling. The difference of the Memphis defense in the first half of these games where they have gone down double digits and then some, and to give up 35 points in the first half to a team that averages 25 points a game this season, that's abysmal. But then in the second half, they lock in. They look like an entirely different focused team, and it was so wild that Memphis still had a chance to win that game, and we've seen it against Arkansas, and we've seen it against South Florida, and you're like, by God, can they do it again? And they hold it Tulane to 3 points in the second half, and they're down, I think they were down 38-17, and they score on that Pazant run at the start of the fourth quarter, and they get the 2-point conversion. So it's a 13-point game. And then Kluse has the big touchdown catch, and it's a 7-point game. And you're like, wow, they're really doing this. And they're doing it with a backup quarterback in Arrington Maiden, not A.J. Lewis at this point, because Brendan Lewis is hurt and can't continue onward. And then they get the ball back and get it to the 30 with 2 minutes left. And what happens? Another false start. Another one. We saw this against UAB. So it goes from being 4th and 3rd to 4th and 8. And Arrington Maiden targets Cortez Braham on a ball that he should have caught. Like, you're watching it, and we've seen Braham make ridiculous catches this year. That felt like a pretty simple one to get. But he loses track of it. And next thing you realize is Memphis really lost that game to Tulane on Friday night. And they snap an 11 home game winning streak. And they're now 4-2 in American play. And there are 5 teams in the American with 1 conference loss, with 3 weeks left in the season. And it's just math. The odds are not in your favor of making it to a conference championship game. And we are again looking at the same script, a very good Memphis football team that doesn't get to end their season with a trip to the conference championship game and a potential opportunity to play in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and I know if you had said this was the case to start the season, if you had said that, hey, Memphis is going to lose a game, they absolutely should not be losing to a team that just fired their coach, so they got an interim coach and a backup quarterback all on the same team. And then with everything in front of them and them still controlling their destiny, they go out there and they lose a game that they should have won against Tulane. I think most Tigers fans will be like, yeah, it's about time. We got to get somebody new up in here.
And I hate that.
And I don't think that you should.
I
don't think that you can. When you look around and you look at all of the high-profile openings, where are you going to pick from?
Right.
Who are you going to get? Because Arkansas, just regionally, Arkansas is open. LSU is open. Then you throw in Florida being open. Now you add on top of that Penn State, UCLA, Oklahoma State, right? Like, you have all of these Power 4 programs open. Shout out Gary. You have he can come in. Gary, come in and sit down. You got all of these Power 4 jobs opening. And, like, those are going to be the ones that get the top coaching candidates this cycle.
Right.
Like, if you're Memphis and you got Ryan Silverfield, I think you kind of just hold on to him this year and hope that it works out for you a bit better next year, because I don't think that the pool that you'll have to choose from this year is not going to be a good pool at all.
That's where I think it's not necessarily the coaches that are going to take the power conference jobs that you just listed. It's the coaches who will be replacing the coaches who took the power conference jobs that you just listed. And even like a Summerall for Tulane the other night. Like, he has been, for a lot of this season, ahead of like a Silverfield and the will this coach be coaching a new team next year? And you have Golish at South Florida. Like, it's just going to be a weird coaching cycle. And if you add yourself into that equation, but for the counterpoint to that, if you had started the season and said the Tigers finish anywhere but in the American Conference Championship game, it was always going to be a failure because it's been 6 years. And at some point when you were putting the resources that have been put into this football program and into this athletic department, you have to win the conference that you are also trying to get out of. You can't say we're too good for this conference and not be in the conference championship game.
I'll push back on that.
Okay.
I'll push back heavily on that. Because it's not like Houston was winning anything. God knows SMU wasn't either.
Yeah, but they wanted them.
Yeah, I understand that.
You're fighting, for whatever reason, you're fighting a battle that they were not.
Yeah, but winning is not what they want. If they wanted winners, Boise State would be in and Memphis would be in. They don't want winners. They want money.
Yeah.
That's what they want. So we can make this about winning the conference and, hey, if you win, you get promoted. This isn't about being good. Because if it was about being good, Rutgers wouldn't be in the Big Ten. Right? Like, this is about how much money
Isn't it
does
crazy
your
that
market
we can't
brings
make
in.
the statement for Vandy anymore?
I mean, you can.
It used to be like Rutgers wouldn't be in the Big Ten and Vanderbilt wouldn't be in the SEC. Now Vanderbilt could still make the college football playoff.
Yeah, oh, gosh.
They could.
So could Michigan. Like, what are we doing here?
So could USC.
What
but
are we
we all
doing?
know they're gonna lose.
Why are we doing this?
Us.
Us what?
Coming together against the Big Ten. You follow that story this weekend?
What happened?
The private equity situation?
No, I missed it.
Oh, we'll get into that
Okay.
later. It's too long for this
All
short
right.
little time. We got to take a break and get to Gary Parrish, who just came running into the studio. We'll have him run back in. We'll catch up with Gary. The Memphis Tigers basketball team got their season off to a good start on Saturday against San Francisco. We'll get his thoughts on that win, plus his thoughts on the Memphis football loss, the Grizzlies split weekend, all that with GP on the other side.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
It's early, but top 4 in win shares per 48 minutes in the NBA right now, Cedric Coward is in that group. Do you want to know who else is in it?
Who?
Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I like that company.
That means the American player with the highest win share per 48 minutes, Grizz rookie Cedric Coward.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Jeff Dunham, Artificial Intelligence, his all-new tour.
You're the other white meat. How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other?
Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at JeffDunham.com.
The only thing better than Saturday Night Hoops is when it comes with an exclusive Grizz hoodie. Every Saturday this season, $60 gets you a Grizzlies ticket and a limited edition Grizzlies hoodie. 4 different hoodie designs dropping across 4 Saturday games. Not sold anywhere else. Don't miss your shot to collect all 4 designs. Grab your tickets and gear up now at grizzlies.com/Saturday.
Check this out. Last season in the NBA, there were 139 40-point games. We're like 5 days in, 6 days in, and we have had 16 already. It is on pace for over 300 40-point games.
Holy crap.
That would be the pace.
Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Welcome back. It is Monday. That means it's time to catch up with Gary Parrish, host of the Gary Parrish Show, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on Grind City Media. Gary, in studio, you made it.
I was earlier than I thought.
You were.
I was earlier than I thought. Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
So I was listening to the Jessica Benson show with CJ Hurt
Yes.
as I typically do, and I paused it because I was saying goodbye to my boys as I dropped them off at school, and I was talking to them. I was trying to give them a pep talk for the week, and so you kept talking. You were still going live, and I had paused you for a moment. So I'm genuinely like pulling into the parking garage, and you're like, and we're going to break, and Gary Parrish is coming up, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna be late.
And in you came.
I thought she was. I thought 8:40 was our go-to
No.
time, and it looks like she's trying to get to me at 8:33.
That'd be
And so
wild.
I come running in here, and I'm like, I'm here. And
We're just not there yet, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm just happy to see you
good to
because
see
you didn't
you.
get stuck in an airport. You made it back from Annapolis.
Hey, talk to me in about 6 hours.
Oh, okay, when's your next one? 6 hours.
6 hours.
Where to?
NYC.
Okay, I'm doing this game later this week.
Yeah.
And I'm very nervous.
I'm already delayed.
You're already delayed.
Yes,
Are you on the LaGuardia? Are you on the evening one?
You know what? They've got these new JFK flights, and I'm starting to take them.
Oh, you're on the JFK one.
I don't know which one. Let's see
Okay.
what I'm doing today.
There's 4 flights a day from Memphis to New York.
We'll learn together.
There's 3 to LaGuardia and 1 to JFK, and I've
will
already been
learn
keeping track.
Together where I'm flying
Okay.
today. It appears.
If it's 6 hours from now, I'm going to think it's the JFK one.
It appears that I am flying to LaGuardia.
Oh.
And I am now scheduled to land at 10:19.
Oh, you're on the evening one. So that flight got canceled yesterday. This is how in the know I am about this.
yeah.
The morning one went off. The afternoon one was slightly delayed. Evening canceled today. Morning one went off. Afternoon one delayed an hour.
Yeah.
Evening one delayed an hour.
So I got real problems. First world problems, but still, they're my own.
Correct.
Everybody, not everybody, but some people sent me like links when Delta announced these directs Memphis to JFK.
Yeah.
They're like, GP, here you go. And they have complicated my life because there used to be a direct to LaGuardia that left around 12:35 every day, and I could pre-tape some stuff and then get there. Now, because of the JFK thing, that flight is 11:35, and it just makes Mondays
For
very.
you, it's too hard.
I would have had to ask Kyra and Bennett to get in here at like 7:30 in the morning, and but not, myself included. And then I don't get to take my boys to school. It just so now in the spirit of like not making everybody's life miserable, I'm now on this later flight that leaves at like 5:30, but now it's like 6:30, and I bet you it gets canceled. I bet you I sleep in my own bed tonight.
Yeah, if I were to take bets.
Yeah.
Feels like asking for all like 4 flights from Memphis to New York to all go out today is asking for, given the flight boards, if someone hasn't seen a picture of like a flight board out of Atlanta yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Well, I got stuck in Atlanta Saturday and Thursday on the way to Baltimore and on the way back from Baltimore. I got stuck in Atlanta. So, and Matt Norlander, my colleague CBS Sports, he's on his way to Illinois for a Texas Tech Illinois game. He got stuck yesterday in New York. He's now not going to the game. The game's Tuesday, and he already knows he can't get there.
I actually did wonder about this from a sports perspective,
Yeah.
and let me be clear. There are far more important
None of
things
this matters.
in this world
Right.
than missing flights, right? Like, people need food.
Yes,
so
right, yes.
Stop.
Yeah. People are hungry.
Yes. The inconvenience of flights
Yeah.
can exist along with that while you understand that it is a significantly lesser important thing. But when you think about how many sports media people fly any given week to the various games across this country, how many will be impacted as the whole flight situation continues to play out this week.
Oh, sure. Well, Tracy Wolfson
That's who I
tweeted,
saw yesterday.
She was stuck somewhere. And, again, it's not that big of a deal. But in this little bitty world of stuff that matters to us personally,
right,
it can get complicated. Like there's a realistic chance I'm not in studio tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? I might not get there. And, it'll be fine.
The world won't end.
Guess what will happen? You'll turn on a basketball game, and instead of 4 people sitting at a desk, there'll be 3. It'll be okay. I'm appreciative that they think they need 4. Because otherwise, maybe I'm not there. Keep thinking.
Don't have them do too good of a job.
Yeah, keep thinking you need 4. Keep thinking you need 4. But you could get by with 3, and they will. So it's not that big of a deal. But you know what? They might think they can't get by with 3, and they might ask John Rothstein to come into the studio on an otherwise night off.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of it's
a wild time.
It's a inconvenience, but not the biggest deal in the world.
Busy Memphis sports weekend.
Yeah.
I want to start with you with the Memphis basketball team because I don't want that to get buried. Obviously, you're in the middle of the Grizzlies season. Not the middle, but the beginning, and it's ongoing. You have the massive Tigers football loss, which is probably the most important happening of the weekend. But Memphis beat San Francisco in a opening game where that whole roster is new, and you're learning about this team for the first time. And I would say fans were a little on edge following some of Penny's comments from last week.
Understandably
Did he just juke everybody out?
He says what he believes in any given moment, and I think he was telling us the truth in that moment. He was not comfortable with what he was seeing, and honestly, we had seen 80 minutes of it, and were you comfortable with what you had seen? They had played 2 good but not great, theoretically, SEC teams. I mean,
and they couldn't hit a 3, and they couldn't rebound, and they
couldn't do anything.
had more turnovers than they had made field goals.
They played, 4 halves, and one of them was good, and the other 3 were awful. And so then you compound that with the coach saying, my talented players aren't playing hard, and my less talented players aren't good enough. You don't want to hear any of that. So absolutely, winning this weekend to start 1-0, huge, because you beat a team that. It's a top 100 team. I'm not going to predict what San Francisco is going to be.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what they were in the computers, and that's a top 100 team. They are more or less either as good as, on paper in the computers, as good as or better than any other team in the American. So you're able to knock that out at home. That's a good sign. And it's especially beneficial because if you weren't to win that, then you lose 2 exhibitions badly. You lose to a mid-major, and now you got to go to Ole Miss. This stuff could really stack up on you pretty good. Who knows what happens in Oxford? I suspect it'll probably be a loss. I'd be surprised if they won, but they're not going to start 0-2, and that's we didn't know that was going to be true. Say Saturday morning.
They also have some really likable guys on this from the story of Simon Majok from South Sudan, and he's the 7'1" center, kind of unknown.
Yeah.
And he looked good.
Yes.
And the smile was great. And just in terms of people, because that gets so made into a thing of, well, fans don't know any of these guys. So it's nice early on to have players stand out in a way where a fan immediately was like, hey, you know what? I'm rooting for that guy.
But that's it's a real thing. I mean, it does get referenced a lot, but it's a real thing. There's a reason why HBO or Showtime or Netflix does these documentaries in advance of like big boxing matches or UFC stuff. It's to get you familiar with what you're watching. Okay, you're going to watch a competition. Who are the people involved? Otherwise, why would you care? Inherently, people are going to care about anything that happens with people wearing Memphis jerseys. You just sort of brought up in it. But you don't know who's wearing the Memphis jersey. I did think it was noticeable that when John Calipari brought back so many players from his 9 years at the school, there was a moment where we're about to watch a Memphis basketball game. So there's Memphis basketball players in Memphis basketball jerseys, and then they're just, older men standing out here on the court, and we knew all of them. Like, oh, that's DeJuan Wagner. That's Kelly Wise. That's Darius Washington.
Yeah.
Who are these guys in the jerseys that we're actually going to watch play? We have reached a point with Memphis basketball where it's much easier to know who used to play than it is who's playing now. But that can change throughout a season, and Saturday was the first step in that.
Biggest winner of the first week of the college basketball season?
Alabama. Okay. I mean, you go to St. John's, you go to Madison Square Garden, you beat St. John's in that building, which is a real home court advantage now for Rick Pitino's program. And it's just a reminder, so often in college basketball, we get caught up on who did you get out of the transfer portal, or what 5-star freshman did you sign, McDonald's All-American did you enroll, often the real difference makers in the sport are who's the legitimate NBA prospect that you got to come back to school for whatever reason. And these days, the reason's obvious. It's money. And at Alabama, they got one, LeBaron Philon. He entered last year's draft, this year's draft, and could have remained in it reasonably and would have been picked somewhere between 20 and 40. But they, paid him, front-loaded an NIL deal. I would assume more than $1 million. Got him to come back to school, and he's just beating everybody off the dribble. He looks like an All-American guard. And if Alabama's got All-American guards again, which is something Nate Oates has consistently had, they're going to be a factor at the top of the SEC. For St. John's, they've got real roster problems. Like, they overwhelmingly talented, but I don't know how well it fits. But for Alabama to go on the road and beat a team that everybody had in the top 10 in advance of them hosting later this week in Tuscaloosa, Purdue, who's the number 1 team in the country, there's a scenario where you look up by the end of this week, you and I are talking on Friday, and Alabama's coming off a win over Purdue, already got a win at St. John's, and people are saying that's the best team in the country.
The Memphis Tigers football team suffered a real bummer of a loss.
That was rough.
On Friday night. That was rough. What's rougher is, barring some sort of crash out of the 5 teams ahead of them in the American Conference standings right now, they all have 1 conference loss. Memphis has 2. There are 3 weeks left in the season, and it is looking very unlikely for Memphis to make the conference championship game. How does that make you feel?
Disappointed. It's just right there for you. Yeah. I mean, you just got to grab it. We're not even asking you to do anything crazy. Like, if you are a Mississippi State fan and you want your team to get into the college football playoff, you are asking it to do a bunch of things that are wildly unlikely in most years. With Memphis, it was just like, go beat this team that you're supposed to be better than. Do it at home. Mm-hmm. And then go beat this one, and then go beat this one, and you're right where you're supposed to be. Yeah. Why can you never do it? Why do you, it's not like Memphis gets knocked out of this stuff every year, seemingly, because they lost to a team that's just better than them. It's like the Roadrunners?
Why can't they beat
the Green Wave?
Yeah.
Why are you losing to Roadrunners and Green Waves to knock yourself out of the college football playoff? Like, why does this happen?
And Dragons.
It's just like, why? Why did this happen again? It's right there. The most historic season in Memphis football history is right there. You just got to go take it. And you just fumble it away, metaphorically speaking. It's disappointing. I mean, I was in Annapolis over the weekend. I was on the Veterans Classic call on Friday night, but we did get back to the hotel bar. John Sadak did the game with me, and Steve Lapis, and John and I were both staying overnight, and we got back to the hotel bar, and we were able to watch the second half of the third quarter and the rest, from third quarter on.
When things got better.
Things got better, but even then it was like, okay, all right. This has been I don't know why you're having to fight to be in this position, but you're in it. Now go do it. And still, just could not get it done. And obviously injuries.
You have a backup quarterback, and everything comes into play.
All of that stuff are explanations for why you didn't get it done. But at the end of the day, it's the same story that we're used to, which is you didn't get it done. You're the best funded football program in this league, but you're not going to hold the trophy at the end of it. That's disappointing.
Absolutely. How would you categorize the Grizzlies weekend?
I'll take it. Because if you don't get Friday night, we're talking about a 6-game losing streak. And I know it's still 1-5 in your last 6, but you don't have to frame it that way.
But that one matters.
Oh,
from an attitude standpoint.
We talked about it on Friday. Like, I see it with my own children who are in competitions. Like, they're not making millions of dollars, and they're not. There's nobody watching them other than parents. But they are emotionally affected by wins and losses. Are we going to have a really fun lunch after the game, or a somewhat down lunch after the game? It will be dictated by wins and losses. So, yeah, it was just the Mavericks, and they stink, and their general manager doesn't deserve his job. But still, you needed a win badly. And, if we could play them again tonight, I'd take it. And tomorrow, I'd take it. You just need wins to validate what you're doing. I heard you talking earlier, proof of concept. That's a real thing. And so we'll see what happens on this road trip. But a 1-1 weekend, given where we were Friday morning, yeah, absolutely. I'll take that.
Well, and it's something Coach Isolo said in his pregame remarks yesterday. There was a reporter from Germany there, and he essentially asked something along the lines of, losing in FIBA, how are you able to take that experience and apply it to losing in the NBA and what's different. And Coach Isolo referred to a phrase that they use in Europe where if you're not winning, you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said it, I could like see eyes roll into the back of fans' heads just because we're such a win-driven sports culture. So if you're not winning, guess what? You're losing, and that's a bad thing as we see it. But I totally understand where Coach Isolo is coming from. And when you listen to him talk for all of this, if you really listen, he's constantly referencing like timelines and learning opportunities and getting better. And he's saying flat out, like, this isn't about a game-to-game situation. Like he said, it's not something that's talked about in this profession because the games come one after another. There's progress coming every game, but it's not going to come right away that you go from losing 4 games to you start winning every time and everything clicks. You make small improvements day by day. You keep believing, yada, yada, yada. But then he goes, sometimes it can be months. Yeah. Sometimes it can be years, like it was the case with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And nobody wants that.
You don't get years in this league.
You don't get years.
Hey, you better hope it's not.
You barely get months.
Right.
You kind of get weeks.
Yeah.
And at least for coming out of this weekend, I think there is genuine change of mood, change of attitude. Now, at the end of the day, you still lost to the Thunder.
Right.
And that's disappointing. And you've lost to the Thunder 14 times, which shows that you are on 2 different trajectories at this moment from a team that you once beat by 73 points in this building now 4 years ago. And who even barely remembers that because it's been pretty miserable going up against this Thunder team. We'll see how it goes. They're at Madison Square Garden tomorrow.
Right.
Perhaps Ja Morant goes back into a building with the electrification of all that comes with playing in the most famous building on earth.
That's what I was hoping last season. I was there, and it was bad.
Oh, yeah, you were at that game. That's when things really took a tumble.
That's when it started to go bad.
That was a turning point.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's when it started to go bad.
That was much later into the season.
Because I was there with my friends that I work with, and they ever hear me talk about is like, the Grizzlies are second in the West. John Morant's amazing, and they're like, all right, GP, let's go. And then we're at the game, and they're like tapping me like, yo, what? This?
Yeah.
This? And then that foreshadowed what was coming. I don't know that was actually the moment where the season turned, but it felt like it never got back on track after that.
It's when we really started talking about, hey, this team
has
beaten a lot of bad teams, but can they beat a good team?
Yeah.
And then every good team would come on the schedule, and they would lose to the good team.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, perhaps not. And now that's something that has carried into
the same thing this year.
But you'd rather...
But totally understandable this season.
Yes,
like, you
the
know what?
injuries
If you tell me
continue,
down 4 rotation players, until these guys get back, not all of them, but some, if you tell me the Grizzlies will beat the bad teams and lose to the good ones, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then let's get the roster in a better place, and now let's go play.
Right.
But right now, beating the bad teams is, your roster's in a situation you could lose to bad teams very easily.
Are you concerned at all about this jaw shooting slump that we have seen?
Yes, but he's one of the few players in the world who can be great without shooting.
Mm-hmm.
He's
a truly elite passer.
That is the position, and he is the player who can still be great shooting the ball like this. But it's harder, and it makes everything happening with the team more difficult. Yeah. You could even see it last night. They will not play him out there.
Yeah.
And he's still so gifted that he can still get where he wants to get sometimes, but it's more difficult when they're just not even acknowledging you out to the 3-point line. And that's going to be, it's been his existence, I think, for much of his career, but it's really magnified right now.
And then he'll have a couple passes a game where you're just like, this is unreal.
Well, the one where he's
over the head to Santi.
Yeah,
there was one early to KCP, and that's a piece too where his teammates. There was a funny exchange between him and Terry Davis, Tri-State Defender reporter last night, where I think he wasn't understanding what Terry was asking, and Terry wasn't asking it in the best of ways.
Sure.
But it was about like having new faces and closing games with chemistry. And Joe was like, I'm counting the players on this team. Most of them were here last year. Like, we know how to play together. That is true. But there are new players on a team like a KCP, like a Jock Landale, like even a Cedric Coward as a rookie. Learning how to catch Ja Morant's passes can be a learning experience in and of itself, and it's gotten better, is what I'm trying to say here.
Well, if you go back to Penny Hardaway's first ever game at Memphis State, I think it was double-digit turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, but I think it was like double-digit turnovers because people can't catch his passes. They never seen anything like this. Like, where's this ball coming people, if you've never played with him, people talk about his athleticism all the time. His vision is also elite. He sees things that other people can't see, and then he can get the ball to places where other people can't get the ball. So it's like a two-step thing.
Yeah.
A lot of point guard. Like Mike Conley is, perhaps the greatest point guard in the history of the franchise. He never saw the things that John Morant sees. Just doesn't see it that way. Does other things in amazing ways, but he could not see it. Josh sees things that other people can't see. And then for the people, like a good percentage of the people who can even see it, they then know, well, I can't get the ball there anyway.
Yeah.
I can see it, but I can't do it. He can see it and he can do it. And that, it's an adjustment to learn how to play with that. You don't know where these balls are coming from. You've never played with anybody who can get the ball to you when you're in this position. And, basketball is littered throughout history with point guards like this, Magic Johnson being like the most obvious one. But it absolutely, it takes an adjustment. You've been playing basketball your whole life, but never with somebody who sees the game the way this guy sees the game.
Cedric Howard's been awesome.
Amazing.
So that's a win.
Yeah, he's great. He looks the part. Like he's your third best player. I mean, I say that.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, like he's been playing better than that.
He had that stretch in the second quarter yesterday where he was your best player.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I say he's your third best player out of respect for the two. But he's been better than, he's been really good. Like, he's ready to go right now. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes every show talking about when is he going to start.
I know.
Because at some point he will.
But I'd love to see it.
I mean, it's time. It's time. There's no rational explanation for not doing it now.
He and Santi played 29 minutes last night, and KCP and Jalen Wells played 23.
Yeah, everybody in that locker room knows.
Yes.
So if you were at some point worried about the delicate nature of demoting a veteran or demoting a second-year player who started 70 plus, like they know. They feel it in practice. They're seeing it in the games. They know they're not as good as that guy.
I can only assume that there's already this understanding of the curve that will happen when Zach Edey comes back.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying from a chemistry standpoint of something where chemistry and rhythm is already difficult with the substitution patterns, the short stints, maybe you're just waiting until you include that piece into it so you don't have to do this twice. I don't know. I'm just trying to make excuses because when I watch Cedric Howard play basketball, I say, that man should probably start.
Here's what I promise you. You could go to the staff meeting and they have a rational explanation for what they're doing. For not inserting him in the starting lineup already. They can explain it to you. They'll tell you this is why. I would just say, I hear you, but I disagree. Because it's time. I'm not an NBA coach, but here's one thing I know about the NBA. Take all 30 rosters. You know what happens with most of them? The best players start. Name me another franchise where the best wing on the roster is not in the starting lineup. Do you know one?
No.
You know one?
Once upon a time, Manu Ginobili was coming off
but it's rare. Can we acknowledge it's rare?
Yeah. And rarer today.
In most basketball teams, you look at it, you go, okay, who's my best point guard? And you say, okay, that guy's starting. And you say, okay, who's my best big? All right, that guy's starting. Who's my best wing? That guy's starting. If you ask that question right now in Memphis, you would say, who's my best point guard? John Morant. Okay, he'll start. We're doing that. Who's my best big? Jaren Jackson. Okay, he'll start. We're doing that. Who's my best wing? Everybody would answer Cedric Howard.
Yes.
All right. So, what are we doing? It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's unusual. Most basketball teams start their best wings. I don't know why this one's not.
We will see if it happens on this road trip. Yeah. Gary, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here early.
I was ready to go.
Early and on time.
If you needed me at 8:34, I was ready to go.
Good luck on your flights.
Fingers
tonight.
crossed.
Let me know how it goes.
You know
Set the stage for the rest of the week.
You know what? I'll either get there or I won't. It'll be fine either way.
That's how you got to approach it.
If
you're flying, that's really how you got to approach it this
right.
week. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into the rest of our Dirty Dozen, our 12 plays from the weekend that sum up the football weekend in college football and the NFL. We'll do some Hot Mess Express. That's on the other side. Grizzlies are the one thing everyone in the family can agree on. So join us every Sunday this season for Sunday Family Fun Days. It's a steal at just $35 and includes a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, post-game free throws on the court, and a meet and greet with mascot Grizz. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now for this unique experience your family won't soon forget. Go to grizzlies.com/Sunday and have a fun day.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back. It is time to go through the rest of our Dirty Dozen, our plays from the weekend in all of football. Starting on the college side of things, we already went through the Memphis Tigers debacle, so let's go to what I think was probably the play of the year in college football, and one of the greatest touchdown catches that we have ever seen. That Indiana catch was insane. Indiana was down 24-20 to Penn State. They'd driven down the field 80 yards, needed a touchdown, and that's the one they get. Fernando Mendoza delivers the throw, but it's Omar Cooper on his toesies with just a crazy grab to allow Indiana to remain undefeated. They get the win. Like, that's one of those catches where you just won't forget because it's that good, it's that improbable. Also, how about the official calling it right in real time? Like, shout out Josh Dasher, the back judge from that game. I just want to shake that man's hand for getting it right.
Listen, the video you showed is the one that we saw like on the game.
On the broadcast.
On the broadcast. They slow it down. There's no way that foot is supposed to come down in bounds.
No.
Because he's up and he's drifting out of bounds. The defender is pushing him out of bounds. He, for all practical purposes, is out of bounds. But the athleticism and the wherewithal to know, hey, let me just plop this thing down right here and hopefully it's a catch. Hold on to the ball, man. That was incredible. One of two really, really good games in the Big Ten this week or this weekend. Because you were thinking, oh my gosh, and they mentioned it on the broadcast. James Franklin got fired because he couldn't do this. He couldn't beat a top 5 team. And here they are on the precipice of beating a top 5 team. Indiana had never won in Nittany Valley or beat the Nittany
Kurt
Lions
Signetti
at
would
home.
tell you, well, this team's never played here.
What a statement.
man.
What a bar. It's like, oh, shit.
This team, I do hate that question. Even as a journalist, like I find myself kind of cringing when I fall on that. Like, they've never won in this building before. And it's like, okay, well, this is an entire different cast of characters than any team they've ever had. But it just means I would look at it more from this team has been perceived as this for so long, and this team has been perceived as one of the best, so it still means something.
In college football and college basketball, but we're talking football, like the names on the jerseys matter.
Yeah.
They matter in a way that they don't in professional sports. Where, yeah, Penn State versus Indiana, Penn State's supposed to win that game. Every single time they play, every single solitary time those two teams play, Penn State is supposed to win that game. So I think it does matter where they're playing. I think the question does warrant being asked because while this team hasn't, a whole lot of teams have with different players and different coaches, and it's always been the same result. There is such a high turnover rate in college because, like, you only get 5 years max, and unless COVID pops off, then you can play forever. But you only get X amount of time here, and the shelf life for coaches isn't long either. And all of them dudes who come before you hadn't figured this part of it out. And for Indiana to go in there and get that win, I thought it was over. When Mendoza threw that interception, I was like, oh, here we go. There it is. There it is. Penn State's got this one. They're going to go down and score, and they did. And it's like, all right, just hold them. Just hold them. And they couldn't do that. Give Mendoza the Heisman Trophy moment. That was the moment. One of the leaders, I think the leader, maybe second in the nation in touchdowns thrown so far this year, having a really good season. So he's got the stats to back up that moment. Yeah, that's, for me, for right now, that's who it is. Yeah. Right there. The other good Big Ten game. Are we going back and forth?
We're going.
I thought Iowa had them one.
I was like, the only thing that'll make it okay if Iowa does this to USC is if they do it to Oregon 2 weeks before.
I meant to check. I don't know what Oregon was averaging points per game wise, but I know it was more than what they ended up with against Iowa. And another game was like, oh, Iowa's got it. All said and done, I was going to win this football game. And down goes an explosive offense in Kinnick. Oh, no. Field goal kick is good there to win it on a game winner, 18-16. Name. What's his name?
Atticus Sappington.
Oh, shout out to Atticus. The only Atticus I know was black and got shot during the Revolution.
You don't know Atticus Finch?
Wasn't that him?
No, Atticus Finch is from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay, then I'm blanking on the other Atticuses then. Okay. All right. But yeah, shout out to Oregon for going in there and finding a way to win ugly. And it doesn't get any uglier than Iowa football, dog. Like, shout out to the Hawkeyes for always mucking things up.
God, just like perfect Iowa football conditions. Rainy, gray, gross, sold out crowd. It's like, this is what Big Ten football is supposed to look like. The news came out over the weekend that UCLA is likely moving from the Rose Bowl and is going to play their games at SoFi Stadium now. And someone was like, no, that doesn't work in the Big Ten. You need environment. You don't need glossy NFL stadium. You need outdoor conditions. You need whatever that means for your community. It made me sad.
Oregon's averaging 38.7 points
Not against Iowa.
Not against Iowa.
Not against Iowa. The other really big outcome, and I think you sent a play from this game, is probably the Texas Tech win over BYU. They manhandled BYU 29-7. Which play did you pick from this one?
I picked the interception.
Okay.
From somebody who I do believe Jacob Rodriguez will be hoisting somebody's trophy. Maybe the Thorpe Award, but like he is so good at taking the ball away. He's got a tremendous vision. He's able to make a whole lot of tackles as well. I think he's second in that conference in solo tackles. Like that Texas Tech team, best team money can buy.
Literally.
Like they are going to win or they have a good chance of winning the Big 12. And then we'll see what happens when they get into the CFP. It'll depend on matchups and things like that. But this Texas Tech team seems to be poised for a deep run in the playoffs this year.
We talked about all the money that's gone into Texas Tech. Specifically, ESPN had an article up about the defensive line going into that game. $7 million alone invested into the Texas Tech defensive line. And you can see it. There was a sign at one point, because I was looking at a play to maybe send from this, and I wasn't going to send a play. It was just a man with a giant sign that said, I love oil money. I could love oil money, too, if oil money loved me.
If they would just pay their fair share of taxes and do things like that. I love the oil money.
My
Stop
other
hiding
play.
your money, damn.
My other play of the weekend came from another Big Ten game. There was a passing of the torch with Indiana's win and Northwestern's loss to USC. Northwestern now has the most losses in Big Ten history. They took that over from Indiana, who now is on the other side of this. But the play that got the people talking was this fake punt from USC in the second quarter when the game was tied. And at first glance, you might not think anything of it, but you would learn that within this, the man who takes the snap is not the USC punter. It is their third-string quarterback, but they wear the same number. Or at least for the last 3 weeks, they have won the same number. Listen, all is fair in love and football, which means I have no problem with USC having their punter and backup quarterback wear the same number and faking Northwestern out with a fake punt. I don't care. What was USC's mascot named for?
Condoms?
The Trojans of Troy, who were victims of one of the greatest trick plays in world history. So they've just learned from their ancestors. Don't get tricked, we'll do the tricking.
It ain't
I
tricking.
don't have an issue with this.
It ain't
People have
tricking
been
if you got it.
clutching their pearls.
Why?
They're so mad about it. They want a Big Ten investigation.
It's allowed. It's allowed.
And they would say technically, but there must be a rule that needs to be changed.
No. Run through some. You've got
Pay better attention.
You've got all these coaches on staff. You've got coordinators. You've got position coaches. You've got analysts. You've got grad assistants. You've got all these people on staff. Have somebody go through the damn not the scouting report, but somebody go through the damn roster and make sure everybody's numbers, there's no funny business.
It's also been that way for weeks.
Football coaches have been praised for their attention to detail. The lot of them. Hey, nobody pays more attention to detail. We got to pay attention to detail. It's the little things. We got to make sure we're paying attention to detail this week. They're a detail-oriented team, right? We get all of that coach speak from coaches, from pundits, and from fans. And then when one coach does not pay attention to details, like, oh, no, we got to change stuff. No, the hell you don't. Stick one of them. Somebody, was it Franklin who was having dudes come to the house and park the car? You've got people running around as assistants, valet parking stuff.
Right.
You can surely have one of these grad assistants sit down and look at the roster, make sure there's no funny business. And I love that because we used to do it when I played football, Pop Warner. We had a guy who was really, really fast and really good. And then we also had me, who is neither. And at halftime, we would switch jerseys. And there was nothing the team could do about it. They would key in on me. It's like, nope, I'm the wrong one. I don't do anything. He's over there. And just light him up.
The Big Ten said that USC should have been assessed a penalty.
For what?
They quote that NCAA rulebook of the unfair tactics and that teams are to be penalized if two different players wearing the same number play the same position during a game. But I saw a backup quarterback and a punter. Just because you didn't read it right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Also, the USC thing adds a different layer because the last names aren't on the jerseys.
Right. And the Northwestern coach brought that up too.
Yeah.
And so officials wouldn't be able to note it as easily.
Yeah.
And they don't look alike, but who's really looking?
Who's looking at the punter? Again, go
Who
back
knows who
through.
Sam Heward is?
Go back
no
through
offense.
the punter and the third string quarterback. Go back through and look at the rosters. Everybody's
People
on notice
calling
now.
the ambulance.
Oh, boo-hoo. We talked last week. We did our best plays or favorite plays in sports, and you brought up thick pick.
I love a thick pick.
I got one for you. In high school, this dude
He's not a high school
is not because it's incredible, Jessica. It is incredible. This dude, 300 plus pounds for his high school, scoop and score. But you've got to see this because I don't think I've seen a bigger sort of thing happening. Like, here he goes. All right, we got him. And he's just so much bigger than everybody. They can't bring him to the ground.
No.
He's not running fast. He's not running away from anybody. He's like, no, I'm just a mountain of a man. It looks like a bunch of kids are trying to tackle a rhinoceros, a hippopotamus. Now he's rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Somebody finally just grabs him by the ankles all the way in there for a touchdown. Like, what are y'all doing? It reminds me. Do it again, Jacob. I don't know if anybody else has watched nature documentaries like I have, but every now and then you'll get like the lion hunting a water buffalo. And, you know, those things are big.
Yeah.
And all it is the water buffalo just standing there throwing grown lions off of him while the lions just keep jumping on the back. At one point, somebody's got to just say, all right, I've got to go down. What is number 14 doing? Like, what are you doing, son? Why did you not stick your nose in there? He just falls for no reason.
One of the craziest football plays I have ever seen.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
And you calling it like a nature documentary?
Because that's what it is.
So
it's a bunch of lions on the back of the buffalo and just not being able to stop it from moving.
That is every large gentleman's dream.
That's so good.
I, too, can run for a thick six.
And we're using the term run real loosely.
No, that is the epitome of stumbling.
He ran for the last 15 yards he ran. But the first 40.
He's 320 pounds. That's a run. Do not semantic this man's
throw
run.
Throw the video back up there and you tell me. Throw the video back up. Last time, Jacob, you tell me when he starts running. You tell me. Because it wasn't until the last 10 yards he actually starts running.
But he's still generating motion.
I'm in motion. I'm not running. Is he running here? Is he running here?
He's jogging.
Is he running here?
He's
right here. What's he doing?
He's moving.
He's at the 40.
He's gaining momentum.
He's at the 40.
He's just rearing up.
He's at the 30. He still hasn't started running yet.
Up.
So at the 30, he starts running.
Look at that. Again.
Shout out to him, man.
He almost got tackled at the 1. I want to give him a proper credit. His name is Akeem Davis.
Shout out to Akeem.
And he fought through 60 yards of traffic for you to say he wasn't running.
He didn't run till the last 30, but that's all right. It doesn't matter how you get in the end zone. Just get your big ass in the end zone, dog.
Let's do our NFL plays from the weekend. I'll start with Jonathan Taylor, who had 100 yards and a touchdown before I even woke up on Sunday morning because the Colts were playing the Falcons in Berlin. I was up for his 83-yarder, though. This is just the epitome of Jonathan Taylor this season. Like, he had 3 touchdowns in this game. This is his 4th week with 3 touchdowns. He's the only player to record 4 games with at least 3 rushing touchdowns through the first 10 weeks of the season ever. I know that we treat MVP as a quarterback competition. I know that we had the same exact conversation with Saquon Barkley's season last year. But Jonathan Taylor should absolutely be in the legitimate running for MVP this year. He has been outstanding. He's the first running back of this year to reach 1,000 yards already. When we were talking about Saquon's season last year, I think Jonathan Taylor is averaging 2 more touchdowns than Saquon at this part in the year. But when we had the conversation last year, it was like, wow, this is probably the most dominant running back performance we've seen since like Adrian Peterson. And now we're seeing it again. And just because we didn't reward Saquon last year doesn't mean that you can't do it with Jonathan Taylor this year. He has been unbelievable. And the Colts lead the AFC 8-2.
Yeah, man.
One of 3 AFC 8-2 teams, I should say, as everyone expected.
You've got that type of running back, and you've got that type of defense. And Sauce Gardner made a couple of plays like, oh, I see why they traded for him.
He's like, I won a game.
Yeah, like I see why you go out there and you push it all in for a player like that. You got that on your side. I'm beginning to believe this Colts team can not just get to the playoffs. They're absolutely going there, but like win the AFC and be in the Super Bowl. I'm beginning to think that, but every now and then, Indiana Jones does this. And it's just like, no, they can't. They can't because he's going to mess it up. As long as he does not mess it up, they'll be fine. But you can't be out there fumbling the football for no real reason. And that's the play I sent in. That was a great game, but it looked like he had cost them the game. You can't have turnovers and expect to be successful in the NFL. But when Daniel Jones drops back on 3rd and 13, just take the sack. Just fall down. What are you doing? Why are you fumbling the football like that? Why? Against a better team, they're going to capitalize, and they're going to punish you for it. But it's the Falcons, so, fine. But against good teams, and you'll play good teams.
They just find a way to lose.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. But against a team like the Bills or the Chiefs.
Sure, we're saying that about the Bills right now?
Yeah. In the playoffs, easy. Yeah, easy. Real easy. I'm saying that about the Bills. Or even a team like the Ravens, team like the Steelers, a team with any sort of a pulse. The Broncos are going to feast off of that. You can be the better team on that Sunday, but if you're giving the football away, the Chargers are going to beat you.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are going to beat you. You got to take care of the football if you're Daniel Jones and the Colts, and he's the limiting factor. It's about what he does will determine how far they go because everybody else is good. Everybody else is going to do what they're supposed to do.
Then my man was bleeding from the mouth.
Crazy.
That was one of the grossest things I've seen in a minute. It was like he just bit into like 20 red gushers, and it was all
just there.
Yucky. My second play comes from the Ravens win over the Vikings, and the Ravens absolutely can still win the AFC North, and I'd say likely will after watching the Steelers last night. But my favorite thing from that game was Derrick Henry finally breaking his high school career rushing yards total at the pro level, which is just insane when you think about the fact that he had, in 4 seasons of high school football, 12,124 yards. And it has now taken him 10 seasons in the NFL. He's now at 12,127 yards. That run was the one of which he broke his record at the high school level. Like, I wish that I could have been in high school watching Derrick Henry play football. Like, it had to have been one of the most fun experiences that I'm sure his classmates still talk about to this day, because he was just taking kids' lunch money. Like, he was just running over everybody. And he's been awesome in the pros. So now he's just done it with 10 years. And obviously, different levels here, but
12,000 rushing yards in 4 years is insane.
Crazy.
I saw Jalen Hurd, and for those of you who might not remember Jalen Hurd, he played in middle of nowhere Tennessee. He was a 5-star recruit. He ended up going to Tennessee, I want to say in the Butch Jones era. He was supposed to help them turn things around. He ended up transferring to Baylor, moving from running back to receiver, and then I kind of lost track of him after that. He might be in the NFL on special teams or something like that. I'm not really sure. I watched him his junior year, and this was before Memphis got good at football. So I'm watching him junior year, state playoffs against Jackson Northside. Watching him, and I was like, oh no, this dude could go play for Memphis right now, and he was a junior. I think he ended that game with 600 rushing yards and like 8 touchdowns. There was nothing they could do with him. And if Derrick, he was as great as Jalen Hurd was in high school. He wasn't Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Sitting down to watch Derrick Henry play in high school or God forbid you have to go up against Derrick Henry in high school. You know how frustrating that would be? Like, you want me to fill the hole and hit that dude?
Yes.
No, you want me to keep contained and keep him as fast as he is from getting outside of me? No, that's just not going to happen. We don't make dudes like that. No, Derrick Henry, incredible.
I was trying to find, because I covered 8-man football in Washington State when I lived there, and there was a quarterback who was like the legend of 8-man football, and his career rushing total was 7,809 yards. And that was 8-man, defense optional. I'd get to a game and he'd have like 4 touchdowns halfway through the first quarter. And I'd be like, oh, this is absolutely insane. Good old high school football. What's your second play?
Second play is, what is my second play?
Oh,
Jacob,
we're playing this game again.
Throw it up, Jacob.
I think it's from the Patriots game.
No, here we go.
Oh, no, it's
here
this
we go.
one.
It's this one. Jets-Browns, no real reason to watch this
what a
game or
gross
care
game.
about it. But the Jets had not 1, but 2 special teams touchdowns in the first quarter. This was the punt return for a touchdown. It's like, oh, even when bad teams play, there's fun stuff happening. Even with teams who have no business and aren't good, right? Have no business garnering any sort of attention from you, and they aren't good. You look up and 2 special teams touchdowns in 1 quarter, in the first quarter for the Jets. Like, oh, okay, this is fun.
Well, and that was a way that the Titans won the bye week, because now the Jets fall below them for the number 1 pick in next year's draft. So good for everybody, because then you also had the Saints beat the Panthers.
How do you beat the Packers and then lose to the Saints?
I have this from that game, because speaking of games that you don't really want to take a lot from, but I really enjoyed one of my favorite moments in red zone history, because Rico Dowdle scores here, and he does the fake, not gonna do it, double pump.
Oh, yes.
Because he got fined last week for doing 2 pumps, which is the good old like Key and Peele skit that everybody always does. But he thought 2 pumps last week was restrained enough, and then he still got hit with the fine. And so this week he did like the fake, I'm gonna do it, and then waved it off and said, nah. At the almost exact same time, Aaron Jones did it with the Vikings. So red zone goes back-to-back clips of Aaron Jones scoring and doing a fake pump, and then Rico Dowdle scoring and doing a fake pump. And I'm like, oh, this is taking over the sport. Also, let them pump.
Let these dudes dry hump the air. What's happening here?
What's a little air hump ever done to hurt anybody?
Like, you score a touchdown. You know how hard these men work to score touchdowns?
Keegan-Michael Key showed up at the Panthers practice. Not at the practice, virtually.
Okay.
He did a video for it.
Oh, nice.
They made a whole bit out of it. But it was funny. It was a good time. Your last play is one of my favorite from the weekend.
Is the Patriots. The Patriots topped the Bucks, and the Patriots look to be legit. Mike Vrabel has done a tremendous job coaching this season, probably coach of the year. If you ask me right now, big run. TreVeyon, gone. TreVeyon,
get his name correct,
gone,
please.
gone. And right here, he looks over to the sideline. Right there, you don't realize it. But right there, do it again, Jacob. Right there at like the 10, he looks to the sideline. It's a minute and a half left roughly in the game. He looks to the sideline like, hey, should I go down? Should I go down? And I don't know what the sideline told him. I'm assuming they said, no, you're fine scoring. I know what fantasy owners told him. Go to the end zone.
You don't
Score.
understand.
Get in the end zone.
You don't know my life.
His quarterback is screaming at him to go down, but he wasn't looking at Jones. He was looking at the sideline. The sideline said, yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and score.
Not at Jones. At Drake May. I'm
getting my Patriots quarterback.
Mac is living in San Francisco. Drake May has the Patriots 8-2. And TreVeyon Henderson finally arrived. It has taken weeks for those of us TreVeyon Henderson fantasy football managers, of which I am one. My husband is one. We have lived in Henderson hell watching Ramondre Stevenson get carry after carry after carry for this team. But finally, with no Stevenson, they finally gave TreVeyon Henderson a chance, and he really valued it. I saw somebody post the graphic that we've referenced before of the man chipping away at the I don't know what you would call it, the underground, and usually he stops before he gets to the jewels, and it's your reminder in life to just keep chipping away. And someone said TreVeyon Henderson fantasy football managers today, and it's the man, and finally all of the concrete or whatever substance it is gone, and he gets to look at the jewels, and we got it with TreVeyon Henderson having 14 carries for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sunday. It was a beautiful sight. We were screaming in our household. And as somebody pointed out in the chat, I'm 3-8 in fantasy football, but don't worry, I have TreVeyon Henderson, and I'm not 3-8. I'm coming for this whole league, and nobody will take me down. The league's named Benson and the Boys, and Benson must prevail because everybody wants to talk about somebody else's fantasy football team. I know how it goes. We'll save our Hot Mess Express for later this week. Maybe we'll need a little boost, a little bump, some laughs along the way. So we'll save those.
I can always use a little bump.
Of course you can. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Monday. It's cold. Bundle up, but it is sunny out, so that's always a good thing. Grizzlies have the night off. They'll be in New York tomorrow. It'll be a game day. Mike Wallace will join us from the road. Will Coleman will join us to talk about the Tigers' big first win, and it'll be a game day for the Tigers as they take on Ole Miss. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.